Mayonnaise is a simple ingredient with a critical mission in professional kitchens. So why is selecting the right mayonnaise so complex? From extra heavy duty to real super premium, the category terminology causes unnecessary confusion. And the lack of standardization can lead to disappointing results, dissatisfied customers, and costly waste. Visit venturafoods.com/mayo needs to help you find the right mayonnaise for your operation.
Welcome to Menu Talk, a weekly podcast that explores food, drink, and menu trends in restaurants of every type and size. I'm Pat Kobe, Senior Menu Editor of Restaurant Business, and a co-host of Menu Talk, along with Brett Thorne. Each week, we sit down with a chef, restaurateur, menu developer, or industry leader to share their take on the trends. This week, I'm joined by Cindy Klein Roche, Chief Growth Officer of ezCater, which is a platform that connects workplaces to restaurants. Catering has really grown as a revenue stream for restaurants and as a return to office incentive for companies. But Cindy describes how food is also being used to drive productivity and collaboration in the workplace. The good news for restaurants is that the average workplace catering order size is up 12% to about $420. And employees who first try a restaurant at work will then return to that restaurant on their own or with a group for lunch or dinner. And what sways them the most? It's a menu with a lot of appealing options. Cindy offers valuable insights into how to boost catering revenue, why breakfast and afternoon treats are becoming a growing catering opportunity, and where workplace catering is heading next. Let's all give a listen. Welcome to Menu Talk. I'm here with Cindy Klein Roche, who is the Chief Growth Officer at ezCater. Welcome, Cindy.
Thank you. And thank you so much for hosting me, Pat. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you and hear all about catering because there's a lot of stuff happening in catering these days. So tell me, first of all, what are a few of the highlights from your recent report at the 2025 Catering Growth Forum?
Well, that's a great question. I think it's always great to hear that food is continuing to have a big impact in workplaces and that catering is expanding. Workplace food is expanding. It's also really exciting to learn that workplace food has this kind of, is a powerful marketing engine and has this halo effect into other parts of the restaurant's businesses. And also, I think a key takeaway for me is that we're kind of living in the era of me in terms of employees and what they want in terms of food. They want it how they want it, when they want it, in the way they want it. And that was a big aha as well.
Interesting. So why do you think workplace food market is expanding right now? Are people back to offices in greater numbers now than they were earlier in the year?
I think there's that. I think that's stabilized. I think they're using food for all of the, things we've always known, like meetings, board meetings, trainings. But then there's this energy surrounding organizations using food to drive productivity, to drive collaboration and boost retention, and even to get people to come into the office in a way that we really haven't seen as strongly before.
Right. And ezCater really caters, so to speak, to the B2B marketplace rather than social catering.
Correct. We're focused entirely on food for people who work at work and delivering on those needs.
And in terms of dollars, how are restaurants with catering programs benefiting from this growth in the food market in the workplace?
So they're seeing, first of all, the average order size is up. It's gone up year over year by about 12% to what we're seeing on ezCater is an average order of $420. And headcount has also gone up to 25. And that's up about 9-10% year over year. But also they're seeing, as I mentioned, that spill over into orders beyond that initial workplace order. I don't know if you want to get into that now, but I want to dig in on that.
Yeah, sure. Let's hear about it.
So we think about it as kind of this halo effect. We have this, to me, really yummy stat that 70% of employees who first try a restaurant at work then go on to use that restaurant outside of work. And that is up 49% year over year. Huge, huge lift. Obviously, this also drives in-store, foot traffic into the restaurant. And drive social catering for that restaurant in addition to people dining in. So that halo effect is so powerful and so amazing to me because it really is de facto kind of a marketing program for these restaurants.
And then how much does it affect their revenue to have this other revenue stream, so to speak, than outside of the restaurant?
So that varies, I think, by our restaurant partners. Some of our biggest partners are seeing, high double-digit growth through their catering program. And no doubt about it, in the restaurants that are focused on catering, it's often their highest growth lever in their overall business.
Interesting. And when you say like the average order is $420, how many people does that feed? Is it the 25 that you mentioned usually? Okay.
Correct. About, average 25, average 420.
Right. So doing the math, that's like a little less than $20 per person.
Correct. Yes. That's a strain for both of us, but yes. I want to say it's $17, $18 about.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And that's across the country. I mean, like in New York, it's really hard to find lunch for less than $20, but
yes, that's fair. That's an average, and averages hide a lot. I think in New York, I know when we do our employee meal programs, that average lunch in Boston, New York is more around $20. Whereas, you go in the middle of the country, maybe you're looking at more $13.
Right. So what do you think, what are the key ingredients for success for restaurants that want to do workplace catering?
That is a great question. I think one place it all starts, and this is, given the name of this podcast, it must be near and dear to your heart, is the menu. I think the menu is really their billboard and their best way to show someone that they can see their needs reflected in that restaurant. And really, that is about having options that are going to suit all sorts of dietary needs. It's about making someone see in your menu that you have the options that their people are going to want to eat in the format that they want to eat it. And whether that's boxed lunches or that's a tray or that's a build your own taco bar. I think that the menu, I think something like over 50% of people say that the menu is the single variable that swayed them to choose a new restaurant because the menu was appealing to them.
And so, like, are there certain types of cuisines that are really popular with catering at offices?
So we definitely see sandwiches, unsurprisingly, as being, kind of the staple. I know it's not a cuisine, but it is a thing. And I think Italian and Mexican is probably second most popular. And then again, not a cuisine, but breakfast is really having this rising, sort of role in people's food landscape at work.
Right. Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about breakfast because is that something that's becoming more popular now than it was maybe a couple of years ago as a catering option?
It's up in popularity for sure. I think because for a few reasons. One, price. It can come in at sort of a lower price point while still delivering that joy of food being in the workplace and taking care of your people. I also think, workplace experience people are looking to create different moments and different reasons for people to gather and collaborate, and breakfast does that. Also, sweet treats in the afternoon. When we were surveying people, something like 30% of people treat themselves daily to something sweet in the afternoon. It's kind of a rising trend. You see it in social media where people are kind of entitled to a snack. So we see our brands. One of our newest brands is Levain cookies, which I personally, I have my guilty pleasures. That is definitely one
Yeah,
of them.
those are definitely amazing.
Aren't they amazing? Someday when we're together, we have to go get them because nearly nothing brings me more joy. But anyway, they have this new bundle that we built with them called the Super Cookie Stash, which is literally to deliver that kind of treat moment in the workplace.
Yeah, we talked about treat culture last time we spoke. So that's something that's really growing on social media and I guess in the workplace. That's something that the younger generations are really into.
Yes, I think it is a rising trend. And I think restaurants, to your earlier question, it's another revenue opportunity because the average corporate order for Levan is something on the order of $330. Which is a really great ticket for them, really great addition.
I mean, those cookies are so large. I really can eat like a sixth of one and be very happy. That's my treat.
I think that's what keeps you and me. I have to eat the whole thing when I start.
But as far we talked about box meals versus bars now, or buffets during the pandemic, as we know, like buffets and bars were sort of like went downhill. But are they rising again now? I mean, we're 5 years past the pandemic, but I think people still remember it well. So.
They're back and people love them. And I think because people can go down the line and customize their meal to exactly what they want it to be. So during the pandemic, we saw individually boxed items go way up over 50%. Now they're back to our orders. About 25% of them contain individually packaged items. And that seems quite stable. And we definitely see that bar back, that taco bar is back to being its old self.
Yeah. And I bet breakfast bars are kind of popular too.
Breakfast bars are popular too. Yes.
You have a program called Relish as well. Can you just explain that a little bit as an alternative to, group ordering?
Yes, of course. So Relish is a great employee meal program where an employer can offer a rotating selection of popular favorite restaurants that each employee can order from that menu exactly what they want. And it is on a subsidy that the employer decides how much they'd like to subsidize. And if you spend kind of over what the subsidy allows, it goes right onto your personal credit card. So it kind of works for everyone because it's delivered right to the office. The employer is subsidizing most, if not all, of your free lunch. And you get to choose from the menus of popular restaurants that are right around your office.
That's so great. And aside from offices and corporate, headquarters, do you also do like healthcare or schools or any kind of other group situations?
So we say the workplace, we're pretty expansive about the workplaces wherever productive things happen. We definitely feed hospitals and healthcare settings. We're really popular for college programs, especially popular for teams when they're traveling off the college campus. This is a great food option. We're feeding physicians' offices when pharma reps are coming to detail them. We're feeding construction sites when they have a temporary office set up and their workers are working somewhere. Recently, we've seen a big rise in data warehouses where these are places that are in secure settings. Often, logistically, it's hard to get there. There aren't a lot of local restaurants. The break is very short. We're great for brisk breaks where you have to know the food will arrive and you can feed 500 people in 30 minutes.
And ezCater is mostly in the U.S., correct? Are you in
completely in the U.S.?
Yeah, completely in the U.S. Because when I think of those data centers, I think of, like somewhere off in another part of the world. So, but I guess we had them here too.
I was going to say they are in other parts of the world, but they're here too. And we're sort of everywhere. We like to say that we're in any city that you can think of. We have 100,000 restaurants that cater in the United States that we have partnerships with. And that pretty much gets to every city and wherever a data warehouse would be in the U.S.
And you do both chain restaurants and independents, right?
Correct. So yes, that is correct. So some of the ones that you would know are Panera, Subway. We talked about Levan, Outback Steakhouse, Crumble. But we also have a lot of indies, independent restaurants, which are hyper local and very beloved within their communities.
Mm. And so where do you think workplace catering is heading next? Are you actively trying to add more restaurants, and are more workplaces signing on, or is it reaching a plateau of sorts?
That is a good question. So I don't think food is ever going to reach a plateau, because I think there's no limit to how many people want to get this benefit or this amenity from their workplace, and how many workplaces are really embracing this as a flexible amenity. We're somewhat aided on the workplace side too by the fact that the overhead and the kind of more rigid structure of having a cafeteria is really not on the rise. I think when we talk to employers, they're rethinking that part of their program, and they're wanting both the variety that restaurants and a service like ours can provide, and the flexibility of it, because it suits unpredictable headcount. And on the restaurant side, I think, we all are humans and we like variety. So we get a lot of requests from our corporate clients and our regular orderers of restaurants that they'd love to see on our platform. And we're always adding Dave's Hot Chicken, one of my favorites. Most recently we added to the platform, beloved, popular, immediately seeing a ton of revenue rolling in, because, we bring our consumer selves to work. We want variety, and we want those brands that we see emerging. So we keep adding restaurants.
And do you do anything like happy hours? I know a lot of, workplaces try and do that as an amenity in the afternoon sometimes. I mean, aside from treat culture, this is like a different type of culture.
Yes, you put your finger on it. We do a certain amount of charcuterie boards. Sometimes we do Annie Ann's goes in with, I'll call it a pretzel bar. I don't think they call it that, but, sort of individual pretzel buckets for people. Savory treats in the afternoon or happy hours. This is anecdata, so don't hold me to it, but I feel as if the happy hour is almost the last returner to the workplace landscape in the return to the office.
Yeah.
We see less of that than we do breakfast and treats.
Yeah, because people still want to go out for happy hours, I guess.
I guess, yes.
It's a different kind of social occasion, so.
Exactly. I think that, on that recurring meal program, we talked about it. We didn't talk about how something like 43% of the people we surveyed said that they had a recurring meal program in place, which is way up. So I found that kind of fascinating, that they're committing to this programmatic approach to food. Part of that, I do think, again, is that appeal of a more flexible program versus an installed cafeteria. But part of it is that we really are seeing this embracing of food as a cornerstone of the kind of amenities in a workplace, in a way that it wasn't as programmatic and formalized before COVID. And in recent years, it really has been on the rise.
Yeah, for sure. It's been very interesting. Well, thank you so much, Cindy. I really appreciate your time.
Well, I've loved talking to you. I love the chance to talk about restaurants and workplaces and the intersection between the two. So thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
Mayonnaise is a simple ingredient with a critical mission in professional kitchens. So why is selecting the right mayonnaise so complex? From extra heavy duty to real super premium, the category terminology causes unnecessary confusion. And the lack of standardization can lead to disappointing results, dissatisfied customers, and costly waste. Visit venturafoods.com/mayo needs to help you find the right mayonnaise for your operation.